You are so focused on how much further along you need to go to fully conquer binge eating versus seeing how far you have already come. The truth is, regardless if you've been on this journey for a month, 6 months, a year, or longer, I guarantee that there are things that you are experiencing right now when it comes to your relationship with food that you would have dreamed of not too long ago. But it's so easy to say, yeah, but I'm not there yet. Yeah, but I still have a lot of work to do. Yeah, but I'm still mindlessly snacking. Yeah, but I haven't conquered yet. But you have to reflect to see how far you've come. The month of September for this podcast challenge is all about consistency. And if you want to be consistent, the way that I think about consistency is like being in momentum, feeling excited. And if you want to feel excited about continuing to stay in momentum and continuing on that path towards fully conquering binge eating, you really need to take a moment and reflect to see how far you've come. You know, sometimes my clients will say something like, oh, I kind of feel a little guilty because I did some overeating. And I'm like, well, let me just pause for a moment. When was the last time that you binged? And they're like, oh, I know, that's true. Or they'll be like, I'm still doing a little bit of overeating. And I'm like, yeah, but look how far you've come. Like, you haven't binged in months. Like, I'm talking like 6 or 8 months. Like, that's massive. But it's always like, yeah, but XYZ. Yeah, but I'm still mindlessly snacking. Yeah, but I'm still overeating. And you have to really think about how far you've come. Even when I think about my journey, I used to literally go to bed like starving, like so hungry because I didn't have any macros left. And this would happen so many times. There'd be like 6 o'clock and it's like, oh, Lorna, you don't have any macros left. So just go to bed hungry. And I remember those nights that I would just essentially starve myself and just go to bed so hungry. And then as I was healing my relationship with food, even when I was still overeating, I had to take a moment. And instead of saying, oh, but you're still overeating, what I had to remind myself is, but Lorna, you're not starving yourself anymore. You're not even using MyFitnessPal anymore. You're not even tracking your food anymore. You're not even weighing yourself anymore. You're not spending hours in the gym anymore. Like that, you've come so far. You've come so far. And I know you have come so far as well too. Maybe, you haven't weighed yourself in a really long time. Maybe you haven't used MyFitnessPal in a really long time. Like all of these different things, there are things that you're experiencing right now with your relationship with food that you're just kind of brushing off and you're not remembering that one point that felt like a long ways away. I remember thinking I'm going to be tracking my food when I'm 90 years old. I'm never going to not track my food. I'm never going to stop weighing myself. I'm never going to stop taking progress photos. And I haven't done that in some of these things I haven't done in 8 years. Right? And so where you're at currently, yes, you're always going to have things to improve on. There's always going to be things that you want to become better at. And even me, I'm 4 years binge free, but the journey doesn't end here. I'm still deepening my self-love. I'm still mastering my habits. I'm still always working on myself. And there's even clients that I work with, let's say in the Ditch Decade Diets Academy, where they get the highest level of support. And even when they conquer binge eating, that's not it. It's not like they just stop. A lot of my clients continue to work with me for a long period of time because then after conquering binge eating, it's okay, well then I really want to dial up my nutrition and my fitness without reverting back to old habits. Okay, well now I want to work on my gut and my hormones without effing up my relationship with food. So there's so many other things to work on. It's not like you just conquer binge eating and you never work on yourself. It's I've conquered binge eating, but then it's okay, I want to have super high energy. I want to have good gut health and all, I want to make sure my hormones are stable. So there's always new levels. And so, yeah, right now you might still be overeating or binging, but can you just take a moment to see how far you've come? Because taking a moment to reflect and be I am so proud of the younger version of myself who, deleted MyFitnessPal, who no longer weighs herself. If you can take a moment to really see how far you've come, that's gonna, number one, you're gonna be so proud of yourself. But number two, that's what's going to create the momentum and the excitement to keep on going, because at one point you probably never thought that was possible. You probably thought, well, I'm just going to track for a really long time, or I'm never going to give up MyFitnessPal, or I'm never going to stop weighing myself. But you're doing that. You haven't done those things in probably a really, really, really long time. And you have to reflect back to yourself, how far you've come. It's just the start. It's just the beginning. And in a few months, there are going to be things like, holy moly, I stayed home alone and I had a brownie and I didn't even have a single urge. That's going to happen for you. But that's not going to happen for you if you're constantly oh, but I'm not there yet. You have to take a moment, pause. What have you already done? Get your mind blown. You should be mind blown. That is going to create excitement. That's going to create momentum to keep on going, to stay focused so that you can fully conquer binge eating. So that's what I have for you today. And this is why, inside of our coaching calls with my clients, every single time I say, what's a win? Every single coaching call, at the beginning of every single coaching call, I say, what's a win? Because I don't want you to bypass these moments that you might seem are so small or so insignificant, but they're big deals. I am on coaching calls with my clients and I'm about to pass out because they're oh, I have a tiny little win. And then they're just sharing this massive win. And I'm do you notice how far you've come? Even I see the transformation in my clients. I see the transformation in you, especially if we've been working together for 6 months, a year, it's I see the transformation and I'm you're a completely different person. But if you don't actually acknowledge, oh yeah, this is the win that I've had this week, it's easy to bypass, but I'm not there yet, but I'm not there yet, but I'm not there yet. But you will get there when you acknowledge how far you have come. So this is the podcast episode that I have for you today. Remember, this is a podcast listeners only challenge. Only if you listen to the podcast, you can participate. No one else knows about this. All you got to do to enter the giveaway, which I'm doing every single Friday, is just rate and review the podcast, take a screenshot and send it over to me in a message. You'll be able to submit a question to me and I'll give you personalized coaching. And then you will also be entered into a draw to win a specific prize that I'll be giving away every single Friday. So stay plugged in. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you never miss an episode, and I will see you in the next one.